everybody, TJ Callan here with Callan's Crafting Studio, and in today's video we are going to iron on a hat, one just like this. This is the very first hat I ever made, and it has the holographic material on it, and in this video we're going to do it with the Cricut glitter iron-on. I'm a hat girl, I wear lots of hats, so I've been wanting to do this for a long time now and I'm really excited, so keep watching because here we go. Okay, let's talk about some of the supplies before we actually start this project. So this is something called a Dritz Taylor ham, and I got this on Amazon, and it's like a hard, it's filled like with a very hard, stiff stuffing, and I guess because it looks like a ham, that's probably why it's called that, but it works well for the hats because it sort of fits right inside there, so you can just, when you're ironing, it gives you the stability that you need, and you can see when you put it in, it fits nicely up against here. This is just a standard hat that I got from Michael's. So we're going to use that because that'll give us the stability we need to iron down on. And the hats themselves I got from Michael's. They're very inexpensive hats. They're not made very well. And you have to be careful. I did check. The material is a 80% polyester blend. It's 80% polyester and 20% cotton. So I do find you want to be careful with polyester because you can put ironing marks on there. So you'll see on this one, there's a couple little iron marks in here. I think you can see that probably in the light. And that's also because when I first did this, I started with my Easy Press. So let's talk about that for a second. I have the original Easy Press, and this is a little big for this particular project. So I'm going to use kind of a combination. We're going to see which one works better because that hat was the first one I've ever done. So we'll see how this goes with the second one. But I have this little mini iron. It's Doris brand, and I'll put a link to that below as well. And I think for these hats, it's a very good option. You only have to be careful because there's no temperature settings on them, so you really have no idea how hot it's getting. I'm also using my Cricut Easy Mat because it's just nice. I like this space just to work on, and it is a really great mat for ironing materials. And I'm also going to be using a piece of Cricut glitter. This was a holographic material that I got from brilliantvinyl.com before Cricut came out with their holographic iron-on. I know they had the vinyl, but I don't believe they had the iron-on until recently because I've only seen it recently in stores. I could be wrong there, but I'm not sure. I hadn't seen it. So I hope to get some of that soon because I do love the holographic effect, but this is not Cricut brand that's on the top of this hat. So for this one, I'm going to put my logo on the front of it, my Callan's Crafting Studio logo, and you always want to measure your area to kind of get an idea of how big you want your image to be or whatever it is that you're going to be putting on this. I could probably go as large as 4 inches. I'm probably going to do it about 3.5. It's taller, so I think 3.5 will probably be fine. So we'll see how that goes. I also have a piece of Teflon sheet. These sheets are very inexpensive to buy, and they come in pretty large sizes, and you can just cut off pieces as you need them. And I'll put a link to that down below as well. I will always put links down below to the products that I talk about in the video. Even if I don't say I'm going to put it below, sometimes I go back and put that in afterwards when I realize I talked about something that you might be interested in using for your own project. So I'm going to go ahead and cut out my image, and we're going to come back and weed it, and I'll be back in just a second. I just want to remind you again before I send this mat to the machine that you always want to make sure that you put your glitter material with the shiny side down. That has the liner on the front of it, and you want to make sure that you mirror your image. So you're going to click on the mirror toggle when you send your project to the mat. I also prefer the heavy grip mats for any time I'm using an iron-on material, particularly the glitter, because it's a little bit thicker and sometimes it can curl up. It tends to curl up. So sometimes on my green mats, it doesn't always stay down. And I really like these strong grip mats for that. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I've cut my piece, and I also have out my light board, my AGP Tech light board, and I'll put that link below as well, unless of course you have the Cricut Bright Pad. I'll put that link there too. Both are excellent products. Let's see here. So I'm just going to go ahead and get this started. I don't know how well this weeding's going to go because it's pretty tiny, but I do find, see, I'm already having issues, that the glitter cuts really, really nicely. But this is pretty tiny, so we'll see. Oh, not too bad, not too bad. Okay, just get out my little tiny pieces now. Okay, now that we have it all weeded, it was pretty tiny, so I did lose a couple pieces, my eyes and the little apostrophe, but what you can do is if they pull out or you find them stuck in here, you can just poke them out. And if you're very careful with a pair of tweezers, or I just use the end of this tool, the end of my tool here has a very tiny little sort of hook on it. I don't know, I think you may be able to see that against the whiteboard. And I find that little bit of a hook allows me to really dig into things to pick them up sometimes. So, you know, it's all is not lost if pieces don't come out exactly the way you want them to. Sometimes you can fix it. And like, see this little L here, I think there's a piece still stuck in there. That's pretty tiny. I'm not really going to worry about it too much because I don't think it's going to be very noticeable on the hat itself. It's a black background anyway, so that's the logo. So we're going to put that on the hat. So now, let me get this out of the way. Put my light board over here. By the way, I use my light board upside, well, it's not really upside down. I guess it's actually the right way because the logo's down here, but you kind of, it's easier if the power button's up in the top corner because otherwise you tend to tap it on and off all the time when it's down in your working space down here. So just another little tip. I do that, make sure that's in the upper corner. Okay, so let's see how this goes. All right, so a couple little pieces there. I'm gonna put my hand back in. I don't think it really matters which side goes up. I'll put the white side up for now. Sort of stuff that in there. Get it down as far as you can. Get more cat hair off the front of my hat. Oh, my children. Yes, they make a mess. Long-haired cats. Okay, my Easy Press, let's turn this on. I'm going to get this fired up to 330 per my settings sheet, which you can find on Cricut's website, and I will put that link below as well. You know what, I'm just going to trim a little bit more of the liner off. Not too much because I want to keep some area protected so the hat doesn't get iron marks on it. Now, one thing I don't like about these hats at Michael's that has a seam down the front of it, I'm sure you can get hats, particularly trucker hats, that probably don't have that seam going down the front of them. So let's see how this goes. So I will use that as a way to line up. Let's see, there's two little holes there. I'm just gonna eyeball this. I'm an eyeballer, guys. Don't worry about measuring too much. It's kind of like people that cook and they don't measure, right? Which I do cook a lot too, but okay. So while this is heating up, for now, I'm gonna try this little, see how this goes. Because it's really tiny and I have a lot more control, and I'm just gonna do different areas at a time. Let's see how this goes. I really think this little mini ironer is gonna work better. I hate to say it because I do love my Easy Press. but I need the smaller one. Cricut, send me the small one. Alrighty, we'll see. The other issue with this is you can't really time yourself when this probably needs about 30 seconds with the easy press. I'm giving it a pretty decent amount of pressure. I'm trying to keep it off of the actual material of the hat. All right. Well, I can already tell that it is stuck pretty good on there. So I don't even think I'm going to use this today anyway. And yeah, that's on there. Look at that. Wow. Yay for a little mini iron. Super inexpensive too, that little iron is. One thing I'm going to do though is I'm going to go ahead and put this over top of it now. And I'm just going to go back over it a little bit just to make sure it's really stuck on there. Now, I mean, I don't really wash my hats in the washing machine like you would a shirt, so I'm not really too concerned about this peeling off because it's not going to get the wear that a shirt or something else would. But I think that worked really well. I'm very pleased with that. Usually I use this for this little mini for pressing down edges when I'm sewing, and in this particular case I think it worked really well. So there you have it, ironing on a hat. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like it, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click on the little bell notification so you get alerts whenever I post new content. And I appreciate you watching today, and see you next time.